Hi, this is PR Sundar. Welcome to this special episode where I'm going to talk about something very important, SIP overrated. Uh, Now, let me tell you categorically, I'm not against SIP. I favor SIP, but at the same time, so there are certain other parameters that you have to consider while doing SIP. So when you listen to the whole video, you will get the picture. The first thing is that stock market itself is overhyped. So that's what I would say. Now, many people recently I met one of my friends. Is a new friend. So he told me that he has put a lot of money in stock market. So that is sometimes around October 2024. So I felt that markets were very high place. In many of my interviews, most of my interviews are for Tamil channels, not necessarily English. But in many places, I categorically mentioned that up to September, the markets can be bullish, and from October onwards, the markets will find the challenges. So, in fact, my first interview related to stock market with the Sun TV network. So that was sometime in August or September. So I stated very clearly that markets face a lot of challenges from October. So that is when this my friend has put a lot of money. So when I asked him one question, why did you decide to put much money now in stock market? You know what he replied? Sir, one of my friends, he put the money in stock market 1 year before, and he's sitting with about 40 to 50. So I never thought, 1 year the market can give 40 to. So I'm doing a business. I'm not even getting 20-25%. So that's why now I decided that, I also venture into stock market. And I told him, don't feel bad. Okay, your friend has got 40 to 50% return last 1 year. It does not mean that when you invest now, you are going to get 40 to the next one. The markets do not work. So markets, it does not give linear return, consistent return of 40 to 50%. If the stock market give 40 to 50% return consistently, let me tell you, nobody will do any business in this world. Right? That's one thing. Second thing, did you talk to your wife before investing? Said no. You should have talked to your wife. When you are talking that your friend has got 40 to 50% return, if you have asked your wife would have told you the same money. If you have put it in gold also, the gold also has given 40 to 50% return during the last 1 year. Go and check the gold prices 1 year before and now. So why didn't you put the money in gold? Then he thought, yeah, yes, I did not think in this line. So when the gold appreciated by 40 to 50%, the people don't think that next 1 year also the gold will give 40 to 50. But when the stock market gives 40 to 50%, the people think that the stock market will give 40 to 50% next year also. So that is not true. Okay. So just to give you some perspective, his friend was a lucky guy. He entered when the market was at a lower level. So that was sometimes in September 2023 when the Nifty was around 19,000. And then during the next 1 year, that is September 24, the Nifty shot up to 26,000. So that was an extraordinary return of 40% for large cap. If a large cap has given 40%, that means mid cap would have given 50%, small cap would have given 60%, micro cap would have given 70%. So naturally, that is how the markets work. Right? But in case market reverses, usually those things will happen opposite. If Nifty fall 40%, mid cap will fall 50%, small cap will fall 60%, micro cap will fall 70%. But however, this time, what has happened? It's only the large cap fell, mid cap and small cap did not fall. The reason being, large cap is falling because FIIs are selling continuously, whereas the retail people are still keep on pumping in the money, and because of this overhype created in the market. If you do investment in SIP, you will never lose. So that is a hype created. And because of that, the SIP book in India keeps growing at a very high rate. Some people told me about 4 or 5 years before, like it was 7,000, 8,000 crores that is coming through SIP. Now, but 23,000 to 25,000 crore is coming through SIP every month. Okay. So the reason, these people have tasted the success for the last 2 or 3 years. But remember, last 2-3 years return, there is no indication. That is not a correct indication for next 2 to 3 year indication. It can be different also. Okay. So just to give you some perspective, I always believe that, if you want to take a lower risk, you invest only in large cap. And mid cap, small cap, it carries high risk and high reward. So when the risk comes, you tend to lose a lot of money. You can see a lot of stocks have fallen 50-60% from the recent high in mid cap and small cap, but large cap you won't find anything falling so much. So for the purpose of calculation, I'm taking only the large cap. Okay. Now, if you look at this one, what I did, I'm just comparing two instruments. One is a Nifty 50. That's a large cap index. Another one is, there is a debt fund called Gilt Beats. So Gilt means government security. So the money that you are giving to these people, they invest only in government securities, so which is 100% safe. So you look at this, last 1 year, Nifty has given 9.64% return, whereas the debt fund has given better return than the Nifty large cap. In fact, this one I choose 1 year. Because I choose 1 year, it is calculating to the 3rd of January. Because in January 1, 2, 3, those 3 days only, the Nifty has shot up from 23,500 to 24,000. Right? So otherwise, if I would have taken from January 1 to December 31 of last year, the Nifty return was actually less than 9%. Whereas the debt fund has given 9.7%. So with so much of hangama, so much of hype created, the Nifty has not delivered a return better than the debt fund. Now, do I mean to say that debt fund will always outperform the Nifty? No, that is wrong. So there are times, debt funds tend to do better. Usually when you expect the interest rate cycle to go on the lower side, the debt fund will do better. Say for example, 2023 November, the Fed chairman has indicated that interest rates will be going on the downside. And in fact, he has cut the interest rate 3 times in 2024. In 2025, he said he will cut the interest rate 2 more times. Whereas in India, until now, the interest rate was not cut even 1 time. So imagine if they really start cutting interest rates in India, so these debt funds will give far superior return than the large cap fund. That's one thing. And second thing, this 9.64% may not give you the right picture because it is taken from last year January to this year January. But just before last year January, within 2 months, Nifty has already shot up from 19,000 to 20. So a 15% rally in just 2 months. Right? So what I am trying to tell you, so when there are indications that the interest rate cycle will be on the lower side, and if the stock market has already given a superior return, so it makes sense to move some money from equity fund to debt fund. Okay, so if you are doing investment, so for example, if you are doing an investment, let us say you are investing every month 200 rupees. Okay, instead of putting every month 200 rupees in equity fund, okay, you may put 100 rupees in equity fund, 100 rupees in debt fund. Okay, so what happens, if you feel that the markets are, high, then what is the definition of market is being high, right? See, normally, debt funds give about 7-8% return. Equity funds should give 10-12% return. If the equity fund is given 25% return in less than 1 year, so that means definitely the markets are high. So what you can do, a part, maybe 25% of the equity fund, you can book the profits, can move to debt fund. Assume that market goes another 5%. So every 5% higher, you can book 25% and move to debt fund. So your first profit booking you are doing only when 20-25% higher. Then after that, every 5%, so that means when the Nifty shoot up by 40% in less than 1 year, so you move all the funds to debt funds. Then when market comes down by more than 10%, then 25% of your debt fund can move to equity fund. After that, every 5% fall, every 25% you move. So that means, by the time the Nifty fall 25%, you would have moved all the money to equity fund. Remember, Nifty, has not fallen more than 20%. It has fallen more than 20%. If I'm not wrong, only 3 times in the history. One is during 2004 when BJP lost. Second one, 2008 Lehman Brothers collapse, and next 2020 Corona. So in that case, the entire money would have gone into equity fund. Then in all these 3 instances, during the next 1 year, the Nifty has given 100%. Right? So this SIP in equity is overhyped. Okay, what I'm trying to say, I'm not talking against SIP. SIP is always good. It's much better than, imagine somebody invested lump sum in the month of first week of October when the Nifty was at 26,300. Now you'll be sitting with more than 10% loss. So SIP is better than the lump sum investment. But now the people tend to think that SIP is the best and you will never lose the money in SIP. So that is actually not the. So, sometimes, you put half the money in debt, half the money equity. Then, as and when the market, goes higher, you move the money partially from equity to debt. When the market is falling more than 10-15%, moving the money from debt to equity. So your return will be much, much better than doing a normal SIP. Now, I'm going to show you one more data. Okay, so this is the data I've taken for the last 1 year. This data is about SIP in different instrument. So the best return last year was if you have invested your money in SIP in IT index fund. Okay, sectoral fund, IT index. Then second best performance was Nasdaq 100 index fund, ICICI Prudential Nasdaq 100 funds. Then the third best is Motilal Oswal micro cap index. As I told you, investing in micro cap, it works only when the markets are euphoric. Okay, you all know what happened to Purunji Valiant, who is a specialist in investing micro cap. Motilal Oswal S&P 500 index fund has given 13%. The US market, S&P 500 has given 13% return. And a small cap fund has given 10% return. But now come to the important one. Okay. Motilal Oswal Nifty 50 index fund. Don't worry about this Motilal Oswal or Axis, all because everybody gives the same return as the Nifty 50. So, irrespective of the fund house, you get the same return. So, if somebody has invested in Nifty 50 index fund, in SIP for the last 1 year, so your return is so pathetic, it's only 3%. So why it is 3%? Because every month you invest, from January to September, market kept on moving higher, higher, higher. You kept on investing. Then from October, when the Nifty has fallen more than 10%, so all your returns are gone. Okay. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you, the people think that, SIP is the best. So understand, every system has a risk. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, unusual phenomena now is happening is that, no matter how much market falling, no matter how much FIIs are selling, the mid caps and small caps are not falling. So just because retail people keep on investing the money. Okay, I'm just giving an example. So if I've got lot of funds, okay, if I keep on buying land in one particular village, no matter what happens in other villages, no matter what happens in the entire country, in that particular village, the prices will not go down because the prices are going higher, not because of the demand, because I'm just buying. I keep on buying, right? So, the prices are going higher just because the people keep on pumping in the money. Okay, at some point of time, this is what I call it as a euphoric. So, it is against the nature. Okay, usually in a normal market condition, if Nifty falls 10%, mid cap and small cap should fall more than 10%. If Nifty goes higher by 10%, mid cap and small cap should go more than 10% higher. So outperformance or underperformance should be more in mid cap and small cap. That's because the risk is also high, the reward is also high. But now what I'm finding is unusual behavior. Nifty is falling, but mid cap and small caps are not falling. So that means definitely there is equal. So I would suggest you, if you are holding some mid cap and small cap funds, okay, and then if you are sitting with a very good profit, okay, just now I told you, how you can move the funds from large cap to debt fund. So similar way, if you are having an excess return, it always makes sense to move the funds from mid cap, small cap fund to large cap fund. Okay, so that makes sense. So otherwise, when the correction comes in mid cap and small cap, the correction can be very, very brutal. Especially those people who have entered the market after the coronavirus, they have not seen the true color of the stock market. The situation may come where there will be no liquidity at all. If you want to sell, there will be no buyer at all. So it can be brutal, and then definitely I'm expecting some kind of a disaster in mid cap and small cap. May not be next month, may not be in 6 months, but at least during next 1 or 2. So what is happening now, it is totally unusual, right? So as I told you, SIP is overrated. As I told you, I'm not against SIP, but SIP, put partial money SIP in debt fund also, and partial you put it in large cap, and don't give too much stress on, too much faith on mid cap and small cap. So that is the message. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching.